welcome back to the chair build. Up to this point we've been making and shaping chair parts. Those parts are all right here, and what we're going to start doing now is putting these parts together. I've mentioned before that I got the idea for this chair from a photo, and the photo was helpful in terms of helping me visualize what I wanted to make, and it helped me to make and shape these parts. But a photo doesn't come with instructions. So I've had to, through trial and error, figure out how to put these parts together in a way that is consistent and repeatable. So let's get started and I'll show you what I came up with. All right, and we're going to start with this rear leg piece and the back support piece that connects to it and runs up the back of the chair. All right, so the challenge here is figuring out exactly where to place this piece on the inside of the leg, but also to make sure that you get it in the correct orientation this way. And because the front end is curved and this back end is at a sharp angle, really can't just take a tape measure and measure in a certain distance, because you wouldn't be able to do this in a way that's really consistent or repeatable. So let me show you what I've come up with. This is the template that we've seen earlier that we used to make this part, and if you can hopefully see, there are 3 small holes here. And so if we line this up on our piece, take our punch, let's give it a little tap in each of the 3 holes. And if you can see, there are 3 small indentations from hitting it with the punch. And if I take my straight edge, line those 3 holes up and draw a line, I now have the precise location for this piece. And so this not only tells me where it goes left or right, it also makes sure that it gets in the correct orientation that way. And so we'll just do this on the other leg with the other piece, and we'll end up with two pieces that are identical. All right, I've got the support pieces attached, and so now the next step is to attach the front stretcher that you see on the underside here. The problem that I ran into is at this point the 2 legs are not connected to anything. They're just freestanding and they're not balanced, and so they don't stand up by themselves. So the challenge was, how do I figure out a way to hold the 2 leg pieces in the proper location and orientation and square so that I can get the front stretcher properly attached? And what I came up with is this. I guess it's kind of a cattle chute. You've got one of the legs attached to one wall of the chute, the other leg attached to the other wall. In the back is a spacer to maintain the proper distance between the 2. And then down here in the front is where we're going to attach the stretcher. And let me just back up real quick and show you how I marked the location for where this stretcher goes. All right, we marked the location for the front stretcher the same way that we marked the location for the back support pieces. Got another template here that's identical to the big one. It's just chopped off. But you've got 3 holes here again. We've got this lined up. Get the punch in there. Take our straight edge. And we've now got a line that shows us exactly how the front stretcher lines up. All right, we've got our 2 pieces here in the cattle chute all lined up, and what I'll do is get this piece in here and use this clamp to hold it. And I'll just take a mallet and adjust it to where it needs to go until I get it lined up front to back and top to bottom. I'll tighten this clamp down and then I'll be able to put the screws in, and we'll be one step further along. All right, we've got our chair out of the cattle chute with the stretcher attached, and you can see that it's starting to look like a chair. The next part is to attach the curved legs that go in the front and that curl up and form the arm. And so let's tackle that now. Hate to interrupt when the chair build is going so well. I hadn't intended on ending this episode at this point, but as I was editing footage and putting it all together, this episode ended up being pretty lengthy, and I try to keep these videos relatively brief. So we're going to end this episode at this point. We'll pick back up in episode 6 with attaching the curved arm pieces and the rear stretcher. So as always, thanks for watching. If you have any questions or comments, shoot me an email or put them in the comment section. And if you like what you're seeing, hit that subscribe button. Otherwise, we will see you in episode 6.